In the patterns of biodiversity, we will be talking about diversity and altitude. So, altitude is the elevation, how much above the ground there an organism is. So, as we have seen with the latitude, there is a changing climate with the latitude, and there are the environmental conditions which are changing. The habitat of an organism changes along with the latitude. So does happens with the altitude, and we expect that as with increasing the latitude there is decreased biodiversity. Same could happen with the altitude as well. So patterns of vegetation and hence of biomes are generally related to the latitude, and these are broadly repeated with the respect to altitude, with higher altitude often bearing biome type more typical or of higher latitude. So every time we have the latitude, we have seen in the previous sessions or previous topics that how the on the higher latitudes there are different biomes are present, and so happens with the higher altitudes as well, that the different type of climates are there, and due to the different climates there are different type of organisms which are surviving there. So many studies investigated the changes in species richness with the altitude, and these studies were concentrated in the tropical mountains where the full range of climatic variation is found. And it was not generally conformed with the expectations that as we increase the altitude there is decrease in the biodiversity. This was not the case. So many studies have demonstrated that richness of species, particularly plants, increases with the altitude, reaches a peak, and then declines again at very high altitude. So here you can see the Mount Kinabalu in Borneo and the altitude gradient of diversity in certain plants and animal groups. And this is a simplified summary of a plant, which is vascular plants. And then you can see the similar trend in the Nepal as well, of the vascular plants. And in the next slides you can see again the Nepal, but in this case we are talking about the France. So as we go up to 2000 meters there is much more biodiversity, but till the 4000 it declines very rapidly. And then there is the vascular epiphytes. Epiphytes are the plants which are living above the other plants, and up to 2000 there is increased biodiversity, and then it decreases. The birds you can see in the Taiwan, this is and these are the animals. As we go up till 4000, till the 1500 it is okay. The climax of the biodiversity is there, but as you go up till 4000 meters there is less biodiversity. And here you can see the bats in Alps, Sierra Nevada and California Andes. So as we go up there is in the Andes there is throughout a decline till 4000 meter, but up to 2000 in the Alps there is increase in the bat biodiversity, and in the Sierra Nevada, California there is increased biodiversity till 1500 meters, and then it tapers down and decreases. So overall conclusion regarding the pattern of biodiversity with altitude is that the energy model used in the latitudinal studies probably holds good for many type of organism in relation to their altitude. So again, that in relation with the energy model, that as we go up how much energy is being taken, and that energy can sustain how much biodiversity. So the complications found in the altitude patterns of the diversity probably largely relate to the peculiarities of the local climate in the mountain region. So in each mountain region they have different environment, right? For example, if you are talking about the tropical mountains which are having very high biodiversity, so they have very different altitude patterns as compared to the Himalayas or any the mountains which are present towards the poles. So in this way there are many complications, and the overall we cannot make a generalization that how we can say that it can increase up to a certain height and then certain altitude, and then it will decrease the diversity of organism, but we cannot make generalized statement for all the mountains.